Good afternoon, I'm Atik Rumi, bring you the news on Gold FM.
The news headlines on Gold FM.
Remains of Iranian sailors killed in torpedo attack to be repatriated. Government criticized over delay in appointing an envoy to Iran. Fuel stocks ordered until April, says Petroleum Corporation. Iran's new supreme leader is alive but damaged, says Trump. Russia's sanctioned oil permitted for purchase. Another world record for Duplantis.
The top story on Gold FM.
The Ceylon Petroleum Corporation confirms that all necessary fuel shipments to meet national requirements remain on schedule through the end of April. Managing Director Mayur Nettikumarage says the corporation has already placed orders for these essential stocks to ensure stability despite the escalating conflict in the Middle East. In the interest of clarity, we refrain from dubbing his remarks.
කොළඹ වරායේ බොරතෙල් නෞකාවක් බාමින් තියෙනවා. එය දින සාමාන්‍යයෙන් 18කට පමණ සරලන ප්‍රමාණයේ ඉන්ධන නිෂ්පාදනය කළ හැකි බොරතෙල් නෞකාවක්. ඊට අමතරව අපිට තවත් නෞකා 4ක් මේ වන විට මේ මාසයේ ඒම සඳහා ස්ථිර කරලා තියෙනවා. ඒ කීපයක් මේ වෙද්දී ලංකාව සඳහා ඒම සඳහා දියත් කරලා තියෙනවා.
මේ මාසේ අවසන් වන විට කොච්චර සම්පූර්ණ තෙල් ඡන්දයක් රටට එයිද?
මේ මාසේ අවසාන වෙන විට අපිට ඩීසල් දවස් 35ක් සඳහා සංචිත එන්න තියෙනවා. සුපිරි ඩීසල් කියන එක දවස් 51ක් සඳහා, ඒ වගේම 92 දවස් 43ක් සඳහා, 95 දවස් 75ක් සඳහා මේ මාසේ අවසාන වෙද්දී අපිට තොග ලබා ගන්න පුළුවන්කම තියෙනවා. මේ එන නෞකා වල ගත්තාම ඊළඟ මාසේ කියන්නේ 4 වෙනි මාසේ අවසාන සතිය වෙනකන් තියෙනවා. 4 වෙනි මාසේ මුල් සතියේ එන ඒ වගේන් තමයි 5 වෙනි මාසය සඳහා සාමාන්‍යයෙන් තෙල් පාවිච්චි කරන්නේ.
4 වෙනි මාසේ මුල ඇනවුම් කිරීම කොහොමද කරන්නේ?
මේ වෙද්දී ඇනවුම් කරලා තියෙන්නේ ජුලයි, ඕගස්ට් සහ සෙප්තැම්බර් කියන මාස දක්වා අපේ දීර්ඝකාලීන ඇනවුම් කරලා තියෙනවා. නමුත් ඒ වගේ දිනේ ස්ථිර කරන්නේ අපි මාසයකෝ දවස් 45ක්, දවස් 60ක් වගේ කාලවලට අනුව තමයි ප්‍රොඩක්ට් එක අනුව එක වෙනස් වෙනවා.
මේවා මැදපෙරදිග කලාපයේ යුදමය වාතාවරණයේ තියෙන ප්‍රදේශවල ඉඳලා දෙන්නේ නැත්නම් ඊට බාහිර කලාපවල.
නෑ මේ කිව්ව හැම එකක්ම එන්නේ සිංගප්පූරු සහ ඉන්දියාව කියන කලාප වලින්. හැබැයි අපිට බොරතෙල් එන්නේ මැදපෙරදිග කලාපයෙන්. කොහොමත් අපේ බොරතෙල් පටවන වරායේ තියෙන්නේ හෝමුස් සමුද්‍ර සංධියට මෙහා පැත්තෙන්. නමුත් අපි මේ වෙද්දි කතා කරමින් ඉන්නවා අනිත් ප්‍රදේශ වලින්. ඒ කියන්නේ මැදපෙරදිගම තියෙනවා සුවස් සලහරායන මාර්ගයෙන් පුරවන්න පුළුවන්කම. මිල ගණන් පහුගිය දවස් ටිකේ ඊටාම ශීඝ්‍රයෙන් වැඩි වුණාට අපව නැවත අඩු වෙන පැත්තට තමයි බොරතෙල් මිල තියෙන්නේ.
ඒ කියන්නේ අප්‍රේල් මාසයේ උත්සව සමයේදී ජනතාවට සහනයක් ලැබෙයි කියලාද ඔබ කියන්නේ?
ඒක විශාල පූර්වකථනයක් කරන්න බෑ. නමුත් අපි සාමාන්‍ය මේ මිල වෙනස් කිරීම කරේ මිල ස්ථාවරව තියාගන්නවා කියන අදහස මත තමයි.
Meanwhile, Deputy Minister of Ports and Civil Aviation Ruwan Kodituwaku told Hiru News that airfare adjustments remain likely following the rise in aviation fuel costs.
යනවා විශේෂයෙන්ම මේ වෙලාවේ පැසෙන්ජර් මූව්මන්ට් එක අන්නියුවන් ඒකත් එක්ක එයාලයින් වලට සිද්ධ වෙනවා. මොකද මේ වෙලාවේ ටිකට් වල ගානට වඩා පස්සේ තියෙන්නේ මේ පැසෙන්ජර්ස්ලා අවශ්‍ය ඩෙස්ටිනේෂන් වල අරන් යන්නේ. ඒක නිසා මේ මම හිතනවා අපිට ඉහළ යනවා කියන එකම ගන්න බෑ. නමුත් ඉහළ පහළ යනවා මේ වෙලාවේ. ඒ විශේෂයෙන්ම මේ වෙලාවේ මේ ගුවන් යාන තෙල් වලත් ඉහළ පහළ යනවා. ඒක විශාල වශයෙන් ඒකත් එක්ක මේ තියෙන උච්චාවචනය වෙන්න පුළුවන්.
In the meantime, the Sri Lanka Tourism Development Authority reports that 66,996 tourists arrived during the first 11 days of March, bringing the annual total so far to 623,651. Visitors from India, Russia and Britain lead the current month's figures.
This is the local news on Gold FM.
The remains of 45 out of 84 Iranian sailors who died when the Iris Dana ship sank following a US torpedo attack in Sri Lankan waters off Galle are scheduled to be sent back to their country today. It is reported that 45 bodies, which were stored in 2 cold storage units at the Galle National Hospital, have now been brought to the Mattala Rajpaksha International Airport. The bodies of the other Iranian sailors who died are also scheduled to be repatriated. These remains are being transported by air today, following an order made by the Gaul chief magistrate to hand over the bodies to the Iranian embassy. The Iris Dana ship sank on the 4th of this month after a US submarine torpedoed it in international waters about 19 nautical miles from Gaul. The Sri Lankan government was not serious in appointing an ambassador to Iran, a position that has been vacant since late 2024. This is according to Mohammad Shahid, Sri Lanka's last ambassador appointed to the Islamic Republic. Speaking to us, he commented on various developments in the recent past, including the sinking of Iran's Iris Dana in Sri Lankan waters. Firstly, he started by expressing confidence in Iran's capabilities over the United States.
As far as I know, but they are still using their old artilleries and drones. They have been underground storage and they have been collecting it and they have enough and more. I think even if this war go for another 1 or 2 years, perhaps America may exhaust its weaponry.
So you think America will exhaust their artillery before Iran does?
Some of the defense analysts from the states, they are saying because you are wasting our weaponry for no reason, because they said that there was no problem between Iran and America. Iran never did anything against America.
It was recently that the government approved the appointment of Professor M.I. Fazia Azmi as the ambassador to Iran. The position remaining vacant until then was criticized by the former ambassador.
I think that Sri Lankan government was not very serious in appointing a representative in Iran, because they could have done so soon after I came back from there. But I was called before I completed my stint because of the change of the government. I always feel that there may be change of governments, but of course it should not affect the diplomatic relationship with another country just because the government has changed. But you must give them at least 3 to 6 months until such time you go through the process of appointing another diplomat. The diplomat who is holding office on the station should continue. I must tell you this. Now, during the last 12 days of war, we had some Sri Lankan students in some of the universities in Iran. They contacted me, but they said, "You are not here, but can you help?" But then I spoke to the ambassador, Indian ambassador. Luckily, I had some close relationship with the Indian ambassador, and I spoke to him, and then he said, "Look, there's only 6 or 7 students. I have got more than 500 to 600 students who are studying in Iranian universities." And he said, "I will take them also along." So, in a situation, we may have 5 persons or 10 or 15 or maybe less, but we must have our representative in the station in order to help.
With US sinking the Iranian vessel Iris Dana in Sri Lankan waters, the defense pact signed by Sri Lanka with India and the United States came under scrutiny. With regard, this is what Shahid had to say.
We must in the first instance find out what is the agreement that Sri Lanka signed with the United States recently. What is the agreement that Sri Lanka signed with the Indian government recently? Why they have not put it out?
Do you think these defense corporations are
Perhaps,
playing a part?
that has a serious impact on the relationship with Iran. I think so.
When quizzed whether Sri Lanka was pressured by the US in rescuing the sailors from the sunken vessel, he had this response.
The truth is yet to come, but the fact remains what we hear from members of parliament, from the President members of parliament, in what they speak, because that is only
MP Mujibur Rahman.
Mujibur Rahman and various others. But we see that there was 11 hours of delay after they received the distress call. But according to the international law, that if there was a distress call, then our support should have gone immediately. The delay of 9 or 11 hours could not save the life of about 80 people who have died, who are on the boat.
Finally, he commented on the government's delayed response towards the assassination of Iran's former supreme leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei.
I think it's disgrace because the Sri Lankan government stand this time because now a country's leader, religious leader, has been killed, and the Sri Lankan government was taking 2 days even to say that they are condoling with the demise of the religious leader who was killed. I think for Sri Lanka. But Sri Lanka is a neutral country. It's a non-aligned country. Non-aligned doesn't mean that you have to keep silence. At least to the extent of expressing condolence or to condemn the brutal attack, I think Sri Lanka is so helpless.
Do you think we are not neutral right now?
We have not done it. Because after the opposition members made hue and cry in parliament, and the foreign minister said, I'm going today to the Iranian embassy to sign the condolence book. Anybody and everybody can go and sign the condolence book and say various things about what they feel. But as a government, it has a moral duty, and as a government which is non-aligned, but in a situation like that where the Iran had helped us a lot, and we should have expressed our condemnation in strong sense.
Police incinerated nearly 200 kilograms of narcotics today at a specialized facility in Banathavilluam following the conclusion of High Court proceedings. The destroyed cache included 132 kilograms of crystal methamphetamine and 59 kilograms of heroin, alongside quantities of cocaine and illicit tablets. This latest action brings the total weight of narcotics destroyed this year to approximately 378 kilograms. Electricity trade union leaders prepared to meet the president at the presidential secretariat this afternoon to address unresolved demands. Following recent industrial action, the discussion scheduled for 1:30 p.m. focuses on two key issues regarding salary increments and financial grievances.
Now for some news in brief.
Several business premises selling illegal Indian satellite television services were raided by Jaffna police, and equipment intended for sale was taken into custody.
This is the local news on Gold FM.
The Export Development Board held a meeting to address challenges faced by exporters of key products to the Middle East due to the ongoing regional conflict. The discussion focused on identifying support measures the EDB and relevant institutions could provide to ensure the continued flow of exports during this uncertain period. Representatives from major export sectors, including tea, spices, fruits and vegetables, food and beverages, and coconut-based products, attended the meeting. Through this engagement, the EDB aimed to develop a framework for continued assistance to exporters and present these concerns at the upcoming Export Development Council of Ministers meeting. Nestle Lanka Limited marked its 120th year of operations in the country. In a statement, the company said that the food and beverage giant produces over 90% of its local products at its Kurunagala facility since its establishment in 1906. It added that beyond manufacturing, the firm supports local dairy and coconut farmers while promoting youth employment through various initiatives. As far as the environment is concerned, the company said it targets net zero emissions by 2050 and aims for total plastic neutrality by 2026. Company chairman Bernie Stefan says the milestone reflects the deep trust built with Sri Lankan families over more than a century.
The business news on Gold FM. Entertainment news on Gold FM.
In your international news, explosions shook the heart of Dubai today as black smoke rose over the skyline following a series of Iranian drone strikes targeting the financial hub. In Washington, US President Donald Trump states he believes the new Iranian Supreme Leader, Mojtaba Khamenei, is alive but damaged after recent military action. Trump suggests that the leader remains in a weakened state following the opening wave of the conflict that killed his predecessor. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, meanwhile, issued a stern warning to Tehran, stating he would not provide life insurance policies for any leaders of the regime. The Israeli leader claims his forces now create the optimal conditions to topple the current government through persistent aerial bombardment. Israeli jets continue to strike targets across Iran, claiming to destroy 60% of the country's operational ballistic missile launch capacity. Military officials in Jerusalem report that these strikes focus on nuclear infrastructure and elite Revolutionary Guard bases. To combat surging global energy prices, the United States Treasury issued a 30-day waiver allowing the purchase of sanctioned Russian oil. This emergency measure applies to oil cargoes already at sea to stabilize markets as the war disrupts shipping through the Strait of Hormuz. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent describes the move as a short-term necessity to prevent a global economic crisis caused by the regional war. Following the US's move, Russia's economic envoy, Kirill Dmitriev, said the global energy market cannot remain stable without his country's oil. He said, quote, "The United States is effectively acknowledging the obvious. Without Russian oil, the global energy market cannot remain stable," unquote. Meanwhile, a United States military refueling aircraft crashed in western Iraq, though officials say the incident did not involve hostile fire. The United Arab Emirates reports its air defenses have intercepted over 1,500 drones since the outbreak of hostilities on the 28th of February. In Lebanon, Israel intensified strikes on over 70 targets in Beirut as Hezbollah continues to launch rocket barrages into northern Israel.
entertainment news on Gold FM.
Grammarly has disabled its expert review feature, which offered writing feedback inspired by the styles of prominent writers and academics, including Stephen King and scientist Carl Sagan, following significant backlash from those impersonated. The feature, run by Grammarly's parent company Superhuman, was met with resistance, including a multi-million-dollar lawsuit from writers who objected to their names and reputations being used as AI personas without consent.
Sports news on Gold FM.
Wesley College and Mahanama College face off this afternoon in the third pre-quarter final of the school's Rugby Knockouts 2026. The match takes place at the Royal College Sports Complex with the scheduled kick-off at 4:15 p.m. St. Thomas's College scored 302 in their first innings of the 147th Battle of the Blues against Royal College, currently underway at the SCC. Rashawn Solomons top scored 66, while Gagan Gamage bagged 4 wickets for Royal. In the 107th Hill Country Battle of the Blues, meanwhile, Trinity College in their first innings is currently at 141 runs for the loss of 7 wickets. Skipper Dimanta Mahavitanam scored 54, while Adam Hilmi is unbeaten at 46. Sweden's Armand Duplantis broke his own pole vault record for the 15th time, clearing 6.31 meters at the Mondo Classic Indoor event in Uppsala, an event named after him. The 26-year-old two-time Olympic gold champion cleared 5.65 meters, 5.9 meters and 6.08 meters on his first attempts before asking for the bar to be raised 23 centimeters to the record height, which he cleared on his first attempt. Duplantis has broken the world record by a minimum 1 centimeter margin on all 15 occasions, building on the previous record of 6.16 meters set by France's Renaud Lavillenie in 2014. That's it for the news. I'm Atik Rumi. Have a great day.